moves, and you're not in a vehicle anymore. You get to move separately from each other. And a bunch of new mini games that take advantage of the Nintendo Switch controller different ways that you actually can do like frying pan mechanics, like cooking meat and stuff like that as well. And right now we'll show they have a mini game running right here now. This is one of the mini games you can play, kind of like a gridiron thing where you're trying to survive for 30 seconds. You can push the other guys around, you can push each other around, and whoever's the last person standing wins. Right now we have people playing in the back for us right now, a bunch of folks from Nintendo kind of seeing if they can survive.
This is great.
And it gets more frantic, obviously, it keeps going faster and faster. It gets closer to the end to see who can make it to the end. And then we'll jump to the board just a second in the next 5 seconds after that ends. But then what's cool also when we jump to the board in a second is that each character now, beyond just rolling a dice block like normally used to, has a special character dice block.
Really?
And they're all different. So it could be different numbers. It could be like some of the rolls give you coins or movement, like risk reward. One could be like you get 0 movement or 10. So it's kind of deciding what you need to do in that.
So the characters actually have strategy to them? Like there are different, interesting. So I may have to choose a character that's not my go-to if I want a certain
if you want the dice block.
advantage.
But the cool part of the dice block too is, like right now, you can see right here, there's Bowser right now choosing his dice block. He has 2 options, regular dice block 1 through 6, or his personal dice block, which is 2 -3 coins, 1, or 8, 9, 10. So it's a big risk reward game to play off that one. There's even items available in this one, like a coin. He's trying to setting up the coinado.
Interesting.
Well, I know, when choosing different characters to play as in Mario Party, you want to take selections that you take into account when you play the minigames sometimes, the heavier, slower guy or a faster, more agile character. Those are things that, when I'm picking my character, I think of. But now you added the dice block to this. Are we going to have opportunities to maybe swap around who gets what dice block?
Yes, actually, there's a way to do it. So right now, if there's a little square that has like an ally on it. There's the ally spot. Allies you can get joined onto. If you get the one on the spot, you get an ally. So one of the characters that have not been chosen can become your ally. So they become your ally when you get to the mini games. In the mini game side, the ally will actually be controlled by the computer and help you out. But on the board, what the ally will do, actually, Luigi right now is calling an ally right now. So ally calls Yoshi in. So Yoshi's now the ally. Now that Luigi's called in Yoshi, Yoshi's dice block is now an option you can have. So now he can choose the regular dice block, the Yoshi dice block 1, 3, 3, 5, 7, or Luigi's dice block.
And he's chosen Yoshi in the midst of a game here. I don't have to lock in my ally initially, right? Or did he already?
No,
he chose that off screen.
It's actually when you make the call, it's a random.
Oh, so you don't know who's going to show
Who
up.
you're gonna get. It's random, but you can see who's available. It's random. But even when you do have an ally, though, the ally gets to roll like a 1 or 2, 3.
See, this is the stuff that ruins the friendships, man.
It does.
So yeah, so right now we already jumped in a little further in the game. Like we went a few turns in and gave some people some items to just kind of help highlight these things as well. But what's cool too, also right now, Koopa Trooper's moving around over to where Bowser is. What's cool too, we can go back to the map in a second. We can see if we can actually show some other stuff from the map itself, where it gives you better understanding of what each square is, how many spaces can you still go, what kind of your goals are. So it's kind of a nice way to help out and quality of life things that make the game a little bit more enjoyable in that regard.
Speaking of quality of life, just looking at this, it looks so beautiful. Tell us about bringing Mario Party to the Switch and the opportunities.
Yeah, no, it's just seeing the game, graphically, it just looks awesome. Seeing the detail that's in there, and just seeing the game come to life in this new kind of fresh color. Fresh coat of paint kind of scenario, looking really nice. But even being able to play it at home or on the go, having those 2 options is really nice. You can just take it with you, and then mostly we'll just play with just this Joy-Con controller. So right off the bat, you have 2 players you can just play with just from the beginning without having to worry about anything else.
Do you have a mini game with this mechanic?
The N60. No, there are no mini games right now that do that.
You mean the blister palm mechanic?
My stigmata from Nintendo.
That is so true. Yeah, I remember playing that when I was a kid too. So yeah, I remember that when I was younger, just playing that game a ton and just like really trying to do that. But yeah, this time it's taking more advantage of those motion controls. Like as I said, there's a tricycle game where you actually have to move the controller like this. There's one that's a frying pan game where you're holding a cube of meat, and you actually have to like subtly move it to cook it all sides to flip the cube of meat. But the trick is if you do too hard, the cube falls out. You have to start all over again. These are free-for-all games, and there are some games that are 1 versus 3, 2 versus 2, depending on how the situation goes up. So like right now we're jumping into one. It is a free-for-all mini game, I believe. Yep, they're all in blue squares. So we'll see what we get. It's random, so I don't know what we're gonna get either.
Snack Attack!
Ooh, sounds fun.
Snack Attack. So Snack Attack they will have these like little glasses on their heads, and they're trying to collect popcorn.
And not boulders.
Not boulders. But they can push each other around. You can see they can push each other around a little bit. So you're trying to fight for space and get the bigger chunks of popcorn because that's worth more. And whoever has the most.
And so when you're using the controller here, is this a normal?
Yep.
Okay, so this is a sideways.
Yeah, just holding it
okay.
sideways, kind of the good old like kind of classic controller style where you're kind of moving around.
It's reminiscent of what was it, Mario Party 8 that was on the Wii?
Yep.
But similar, very, very
Oh, it's
similar,
so
like
fun.
a lot of motion and a lot of
A lot
the
of motion
sideways
like
controller.
that.
Yeah.
But it's lovely because the motion control is so much more sensitive in the
I was
Joy-Con
gonna
control.
say.
Like when I talk about that flipping the frying pan, I'm talking like subtle. You're trying to do those subtle turns to get the meat to
Right.
turn. So it is really sensitive and takes advantage of that a lot.
Very cool.
One of the things we saw in the preview that you brought for us from Nintendo Treehouse was the moving around physically
Yes.
of the Switch on the table and how that affects gameplay.
Yeah.
We were saying, I mean, in the trailer, I believe it shows doing this while camping. I was like, that's the dream.
Oh yeah. You're
Camp
out
and
camping
play-
in nature, but you know what?
play
I got
Mario
my
Party.
Switch.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yes.
So any really fun tidbits that people might not have noticed that you could point out that are like, oh, here's a really cool item, here's a really cool mechanic that's new, anything that you think is just really neat that people might not have seen so far in the video?
The Koi Nano was really cool, which we showed a little bit ago. Well, we'll show right now in a second when we get at this one. Is we get to the last person's turn and show a map. So we can show the map real quick here with Peach and get a better idea of what this looks like. So hopefully the map to come up. And what's cool here when you see this is that now you actually can see exactly how the board is laid out, what the pathways are, so you can start planning out your
Thank
path.
you.
Yes.
The lines make all the difference.
Yeah, no, they do, because sometimes you don't know which way you can go versus you can't, so it actually moves around that. And there's actually the Womps are in the way. So the Womps actually, it was showing the pathway with the Womps blocking. But now you can even identify what each square is. You can go around, so what's a plus square? So you don't know what an event space is. It'll tell you what these are. So when you're first time playing or trying to learn this, or anyone who's new can jump in and try to understand what's happening, and that's a little bit different from the past ones before.
When we got this overhead view of the map, it takes me back to like Peach's birthday cake and like certain other themed events.
Yes.
Like, is there a consistent theme for the maps here? Are we going to go a couple different themed worlds?
There are a couple. So we've only shown this map so far. We'll stay tuned for more. But the idea is like this has a theme to it too. Kind of has that feel of like the Thwomps being in there. And even if they get on that main pathway in the upper area, if they hit the event, actually a boulder will come down. So there's that interaction. Those
Yeah,
events
really
will interact and
Indiana
like make Indiana Jones reminiscent of. But yeah.
Well, I'm so excited to play. When can people expect to
Yes.
hear more and get their hands on it?
More to come, obviously, between now and launch. The game will be launching on October 5th.
Great.
So we're really excited for that one. I'm excited. It'll be a fun one to play with a bunch of friends and see how that plays out.
Just in time for TwitchCon. So
Yeah,
let's
I'll
have
be-
a couple challenges.
You'll see us on the sidewalk with our Switches out.
We'll be training.